Welcome, everybody, to the premier Internet Fake Racer podcast. It's the Fake Racers podcast with your host, me, Joe Tawansky, and again, as always, well, it's only the second episode, so it's not really as always, but he's back again. It's the mad lad, Davey Hazard.
You know, as always, it's me.
As always. Unfortunate for you at home, but I think Davey's going to have a fun time tonight. What do you say, Davey?
Oh, I'm going to have a blast.
All right, so on today's episode, we're recording this at night, so if I say tonight, just whenever you're listening to it, we will recap the Roval. Not really recap, but we'll talk about it a little bit. We're going to talk about silly season news in NASCAR this last week, as well as in the world of IndyCar, and then give you a Kansas preview. Keep it short and sweet this week. Again, apologies for not having a new episode next week. New episode last week.
You
got me. Had a lot of exams last week, and I am still burnt out. So we are just cranking along here. Appreciate all the support, all the nice comments. Make sure you share it with your friends if you haven't already, and hit the like button before you keep listening, just in case you don't like it at the end of it. Let's get into this, Davey. So going back to the Roval, I know I put Chase wins as the start of this, and I mean, give me your best Chase wins.
Chase wins.
All right, that was bad, Davey. You do better next time. But let's start with Saturday, because I think Saturday we saw something.
Rain.
Well, yeah, we saw a lot of water on the screen, but I mean, what were? I get it. Like it was a cool race, right? It was fun to watch, but like the engineer in me and the fake internet racer in me said that was a stupid call by NASCAR to be racing with that much standing water on the track.
Yeah, that was a little, like, I am all for rain. We talked about this a little bit while not recording yesterday. I'm sure we'll talk about it at some point, maybe off season. I don't know what we're getting to. But yeah, no, that was too much. That was a little too much. Even road racing series wouldn't have raced in that. I mean, that was I mean, I'm glad they did. It sure was fun, but they shouldn't have.
Yeah, and I think the biggest issue, and a lot of drivers were bringing this up on Twitter, and people that probably know a little bit more than you and I, but a big issue is with these, it's not a natural road course, right? Charlotte is an oval for all extents and purposes of the word. Of course, it's an oval, and there wasn't a lot of drainage on the track, especially. I think the biggest issue was that front stretch chicane, and then entering and exiting the infield was where the worst portions were. I wouldn't be surprised if next year we go back there and they have that issue fixed, because Marcus Smith and all the guys at Speedway Motorsports, they're a smart group of people. They have their moments though, of course, Kentucky and Texas, but it's okay. You got to make mistakes.
It's too early.
You got to make mistakes, David, to get better, but good on
Right.
those drivers. I mean, they put on a show, and yeah, it was terrible conditions, but we had a fantastic race. NASCAR did red flag the race. I believe it was probably around 4:30 maybe, when the rain was really, really bad. So good on them for at least red flagging it for like the worst of the day. But yeah, standing water was just a huge issue. But and even eventual race winner AJ Allmendinger was talking about it on the radio during the race. I mean,
Talking about it is a nice way to put it. Yeah.
It is a nice way to put it. But luckily, though, we move on to Sunday. And again, great win for AJ and the whole colleague crew now with 5 wins on the season. I mean,
oh, God, I love AJ.
You got to think AJ
awesome.
might be in one of those colleague cars full-time next year, possibly. But that's something. That's not tonight. We're not talking about that tonight. But colleague now 5 wins on the season, 3 with Justin Haley, 2 with AJ, none with Ross. And
Oh, weird.
sorry, Mikey. Anyways, friend of the show, Michael Murata. But we move on to Sunday. It was an elimination race on Saturday, and as well as on Sunday. Saturday, I think Brandon Brown, Riley Herbst, Michael Annette, and I'm forgetting one person. Oh, Harrison Burton getting eliminated out of the initial round of 12, which Harrison Burton was kind of the shock there. But moving on to Sunday, the drivers that were outside going into Sunday were eliminated. We talked Chase won. No shocker there. Chase is currently probably the best road course racer. Albeit, however you see why he's the best road course racer currently. But I think the bigger story is defending series champion Kyle Busch not moving on to the round of 8.
Is that a big story? He's kind of sucked all season, man.
It's not about, and I get, Dave, I think that just it's part of that, right? The big story all season has been Kyle Busch has had a terrible season, and I think a lot of that is that team. I think they really need practice. We saw those races where we had double headers. They were better in the second race than they were in the first. I think Kyle is a guy that really needs practice. I think that's why he does all the Xfinity, all the truck races, because the laps help, especially when you're... I was talking about this with someone else, but a guy as talented as Kyle Busch, because he is the best driver out on track right now. And if you're denying that, I think you're just a hater. But Kyle is a guy. When you're so good at everything, it doesn't mean you're going to be great at everything at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, we go to such a wide variety of tracks with a wide variety of cars and aero packages and all that. I think him being able to run practice laps in a car is really what helps him, and he's a guy he's a creature of habit, right?
Yeah. The thing about, no, because I was thinking about it. Like, the thing about Kyle Busch is, you can go back in time and you can look at practice sessions through the years. I guarantee you, Kyle Busch is wrecked in more practice sessions than anybody else because he finds the limit quicker than other people. That's his thing. He finds the limit and he backs it down from there, and he's not able to do that. So it's a lot harder to get a driver to push forward than it is to get a driver to hold back. And right now, it kind of seems like maybe he's trying to push himself forward to find the limit, but he can't really do it like he does in practice in the race because there's a lot more at stake. Which, I mean, that's kind of what I think about a situation. I'm sure maybe there's something else going on, but as far as the practice argument, that's what I'm taking from that.
It also sounds like there could be some moves in the off season with that team. I would assume crew chief Adam Stevens could be move on from him. Maybe move Chris Gale over to the 18 car. I don't know how well that would be, but maybe shift the crew chiefs around there at what's the team? Joe Gibbs Racing, and you're going to be bringing in now the 23 or I'm going to call it the 23 team, the Michael Jordan, Denny Hamlin team with Bubba Wallace. That whole deal, that's more information should be coming out about that in a few weeks, but I think we're going to see a shuffle there with the crew chiefs. Probably not with Truex and Hamlin. Those teams are probably going to stay intact, but definitely could see some changes for that 18 team. Austin Dillon, I don't think anyone had him moving out of the initial round, so it's not too big of a shock he's out of this round of 12. But honestly, it was a great season for Austin Dillon, that 3 team. You also had Clint Boyer and Eric Almirola eliminated. Both those guys, no wins on the year. Cole Custer, their teammate, got a win at Kentucky and a fantastic finish. That's all you can say about that race. But Boyer and Almirola being eliminated. Now, Almirola got extended through, I think, for a couple of years. I think he got a 2-year contract extension with him in Smithfield.
Don't know why.
We're gonna talk about Boyer down the road here. But for Almirola, he's gotten to the round of 8 a few years ago after winning at Talladega in this round. And the first 2 seasons with Stuart Haas were definitely a lot better than this year. The setback, though, in my opinion, it's got to be, again, it's just practice. It's a lack of practice. I think we saw him pretty strong at points this year again. Like, he shows flashes in the pan, right? But I just I don't know what the trouble is for him and his team with the consistency that they really need to kind of get past this round of 12.
Yeah, I mean, he's just, I got to be honest, Eric Almirola is the kind of driver that's just there for me. I don't really notice him too much, especially this season. He hasn't performed very well at all this season. I mean, he's obviously been consistent, made it to the round of 12. Better than I can say for my driver. But he just wasn't there. I just don't really. I can't think of a single moment this season where Eric Almirola really showed up. He's just been kind of average, kind of decent, but kind of average all season. He's like Greg Biffle in my mind at this point. Greg Biffle was just kind of there for a little bit.
Yeah, but Greg Biffle had success.
Oh, yikes! I thought I was being mean.
Well, again, I think we have to make the distinction too. When we talk about these guys, we're not talking about them as people. We're not talking about them as ambassadors for their team and their sponsors. But a guy like Almirola, anyone at SHR, it's really hard to say, oh yeah, you did great this year making the playoffs when your teammate has dominated the season like Kevin Harvick has. So, I think that's part of it, right? But
For a
this year.
driver who started in the top 4 like every single race this season with the random draw, you would think maybe it would have been a little better. I mean, honestly though, I'm looking at his average finish right now. I'm like very sure that's the exact same average finish that Jimmy Johnson has this season.
Jimmy Johnson missed a race and then also had the DQ at the 600, so that was 2 races Johnson didn't get any points for. So I mean, I'm not gonna make you cry any more than I already have. We move on though, and we'll talk about this later. But so I guess we'll just get into the first big news that came out of this week. And first off, I'm gonna start this. If you ever make fun of somebody having anxiety or depression, I'm looking at you, Jim Utter. You need to. I'm trying to figure out how to say this nicely and put it good. I mean, I know I'm a nobody here on JTN with this, and maybe I'll get canceled for saying this. But go, you can go truck yourself, and you viewers at home, you can replace the letters as you may. But no, you shouldn't make fun of somebody for that. Anyways, we move on. Alex Bowman again getting another great opportunity next season. Davey. Moving on to the 48. Are you an Alex Bowman fan now?
Heck no. Good Lord, no. Alex Bowman's a cool guy. He's been a terrible teammate, and I will not be supporting Alex Bowman moving forward. But I mean, that's good. Good for him. Really glad. Shout out to Greg Ives, I guess.
So from the sounds of it, it's pretty much what they're doing is they're going to renumber the 88 team to 48. Kind of like how Penske did with their cars this year, just kind of moving the drivers around and renumbering the cars. But they're going to keep that Greg Ives, Alex Bowman connection together. When those guys were really good at the start of the season and even coming back from the break, I think they're getting that mojo back a little bit through these playoffs. But they get that Ally sponsorship. So now Alex Bowman has sponsorship again. He had sponsorship with Nationwide a few years ago when he took over for Junior and then lost that sponsor. Excuse me. So I think I'm a little worried about that. But I think Ally is definitely a good brand to be with for the 48 team, and I think they're really invested in NASCAR and Hendrick Motorsports.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're going to stick around for a little. What are you laughing about?
No, I just sometimes you just say, "Oh, I agree," and it's like, okay, thanks, Davey, for the input into the conversation.
Well,
bud.
I'm expanding. Listen, I think it's really good. They've done seriously the promotion stuff that they've done. Holy crap. The promotion stuff that they've done with my driver, Jimmy Johnson, has been incredible. They've been great. I think they're going to be cemented in the sport for a while. I agree.
Well, and they've been in the sport before, too, with GMAC and Hendrick Motorsports. But, yeah, I mean, it's a good fit, right? It's a good fit for the sponsor, but Alex Bowman came into the Cup Series with no pressure, right? With BK Racing and then with Tom Baldwin. Took that year where I'm trying to remember the timeline in my head off the top of my head, but Junior gets the concussion in 2016, has to hang it up for the remainder of the season. Bowman comes into that car, performs really, really well, wins a pole, is in the Clash the next year in place of Junior.
Probably could have won Phoenix that year.
He probably should have won Phoenix, but that's what happened. You can't dump Matt Kenseth. Anyways, had all that pressure, right, and got that fan base with the 88 team. This is, I think, maybe not from a fan standpoint, right? I think there's a lot more pressure taking over for the most popular driver from a fan standpoint, but now you're stepping into the legacy of the 48 car. It'd be like stepping into the 43 car in, 1984. Not at the after Petty's last however many years, but or stepping into the 3 car, say Dale Sr. retires after 2000. For a driver, that pressure of taking over that car and legacy, that's got to be something that's gonna be on the mind of Bowman, but he's got to try to block that out, right?
No, I don't think so. I think the problem is going to come with other people bringing it up and him constantly having to talk about it, but I don't think that's actually going to affect him at all. that's not something that I think is going to affect a driver personally. I think, like I said, I think he'll have more of a problem with media member saying, "Oh, this is how the 48 car should perform." Blah blah blah. I mean, look at the last 3 seasons with the 48 car. I mean, that's just BS. That's not true. I mean, Bowman, I know he's said he has struggled with anxiety, but I think the race car part of Alex Bowman is kind of what takes him away from that anxiety sometimes. So I think he'll be all right as far as the pressure of taking over the legendary 48 car, personally.
Yeah, I agree with you. I was just trying to play devil's advocate, buddy.
No, well, I was just.
I know. Be good.
Do you want me to lie?
No, I don't want you to lie.
He's gonna poo pee pee his pants.
Yeah, I mean,
number change because he can't handle it.
He's already done it once, right? And I think he's done it in a situation that's a lot harder to do.
Yeah.
He's done a great job with the 88 car. I mean, Junior hadn't won a race since 2015. And then, I mean, it took him a year, but then he won the race last year at Chicagoland. Rest in peace, Chicagoland Speedway. And then won this year at California. And again, that 88 car has been the second best Hendrick car all season long. So, maybe a couple months over the summer when Jimmy was trying to make that push for the playoffs. But that 88 car is the second best Hendrick car. It's going to be renumbered 48. They're going to keep that whole crew together. But that brings up the idea, okay, we're taking the 88 car. We're going to make it 48. We still got a fourth car. And we talked about it last time. You were pretty strong about what you thought about all the rumors and the driver. So I'm gonna get into this. I'm gonna talk about it a little bit, Davey.
Get into it.
Let me state all my stuff, and then you can do your blab. That's probably gonna make people at home either cringe or laugh. So we'll see.
I'll wait.
So this opens up that 88 and 40/48 team, or /25/5, whatever they end up doing with a number on it. Just a number on the side of the door for the team, right? Kyle Larson, the hot candidate.
Sorry.
Huh?
Nothing.
Okay. Kyle Larson, hot candidate for that ride. Last week, published to his website, Kyle Larson Racing. And it's still the only thing you can access on that website. There's nothing I'm just saying. I'm stating facts. He's the hot candidate. Now, with Bowman moving over or at least I'm getting the Ally sponsorship for the full season, right? Hendrick this year has pretty much funded that 88 car for the most part, right? That Chevy truck or Chevy accessories or NOCO liner, all the different, a lot of that has to do with Rick Hendrick's dealerships and his relationships with all those different brands that service the dealerships. And that's why they're on the car this year. So pretty much it's not a Hendrick-sponsored car by any means, but a lot of it has to do with Rick Hendrick's relationships, not necessarily the driver. Chevrolet, if we go with Larson, Chevrolet got rid of their relationship with Kyle Larson, and that's not been a deal in the past. We've had drivers that Chevy just wouldn't sign as part of Team Chevy and would keep them away. Larson, in his article, mentions Perry Stuckey or Stuckey, I'm gonna say Stuckey, who is a high up at Eastman, which owns the 88, the Lumar, the company Lumar Window Films, which is a sponsor on the 88 car. So that's been tin hat speculation, people on all over Twitter. Again, Larson's the hot candidate. I think Larson, from a pure if you just look at the driver, right? You just look at the driver, Kyle Larson. Maybe you don't look at the person. You don't look at his past. You don't look at a guy that's really bland off the track. But I think that's a lot. All the Hendrick guys are kind of really bland right now. Larson's a good fit for that car as long as sponsorship isn't an issue, right?
So, I agreed when the car was for sure sponsored by Ally. I don't know if I agree with that anymore. Like, I think it's still a high chance Larson takes the spot of Hendrick. I think he brings funding somewhere. Like, I don't, like, you can't
get into a car these days, right?
I don't know if you can I don't know if Hendrick can really foot that bill all season. Like, maybe they can do a deal where, you know, they say they're going to run the full season, but they're looking for sponsorship, and you know, they'll probably find some. I'm sure they would. It's Kyle Larson and Hendrick. If it's good equipment, he's gonna make some noise. Obviously, I don't know. I think the Alex Bowman getting the Allies. Like people say, he's getting the 48 car. Alex Bowman to the 48. No, Alex Bowman didn't get the 48 car. He got the Ally sponsorship. That's how I was looking at that announcement. Alex Bowman got the funded car. That is what happened last week. Now that you might need funding to get that ride, I think that opens up the silly season talk for that car again for the spot at Hendrick. It's not. I don't think it's as straightforward as Kyle Larson can run the Hendrick car because Hendrick says, "I got monies."
Yeah.
I think it's a little more interesting than that. At least that's what I'd like to believe. Maybe I mean I truly believe it, but I'm sure I'm just talking out my ass, and Rick Hendrick's a cajillionaire who can afford to wreck a bunch of race cars, or at least replace the right sides on them.
Yeah, he probably needs to do that a bunch. Yeah. That Larson kid knocks the walls down a lot. Yeah, I mean, I think the idea though with the opposite of your argument about not needing sponsorship, if I can kind of get on the other side of the table from you here.
Shoot me down.
I'm not going to shoot you down. I think the argument though is that Kyle Larson has a damaged image for corporate America right now, right? He still has a damaged image. He hasn't.
Wait, why?
We're not gonna go there again. You can read his article at Kyle Larson Racing. Yes, I'm sure he's learned from it. I know I think we all know he's learned from it. Whether it makes that lasting impact, it's, you know, you still have to be skeptical to see. It's not your place. It's not my place to say that he is forgiven for his actions and for what he said. I think the argument though is, if you don't have to worry about sponsorship, you don't have to worry about bringing in a brand, you can delay the sponsorship further in the season. If a guy's winning races and he's in the top 10 and he's getting 30 minutes of TV time a week, that is valuable to a Fortune 500 company. It's valuable to a random manufacturing company. It's to these different companies that sponsor auto racing in general, right? Mm-hmm. I think that's where that has to go. If you can maybe get sponsorship for those first 5 races, you kind of wait and see how it goes. I mean, we've seen that before, right? Davey McMurray in 2010 when he went back to Ganassi, that one car had the Bass Pro Shop sponsorship, but they didn't have sponsorship for the full season. They got the McDonald's sponsorship because he won the Daytona 500. And Davey McMurray is a completely different person and personality and for a sponsor than Kyle Larson is, because I think Kyle Larson's he's bland, right? I think he's pretty bland. He's kind of just reserved. Mm-hmm. I think that's part of the shock value too. With April, and yeah, I still think he's the best candidate for that car. If you're just looking at, I want the best driver that could win me races now, especially with the addition of Bristol Dirt for some godforsaken reason. I'm just gonna drop my opinions here and there, and then you'll see the thread throughout all these podcast episodes. But yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, Davey. I think not having the sponsorship, it's a shot against, but I think it can also be a shot for Larson to land that ride.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And an update: he has still not applied for reinstatement with NASCAR, even though he's gone through all the training. So, we'll see what happens with that. You and I though were talking, and I think you made a pretty important observation. I was going to say observance, but you made a pretty important observation. Mm-hmm. What happens to Cliff Daniels? He's been crew chief on the 48 car. That 48 car has been better this year. With Cliff atop the box, he was the race engineer, I believe, right when Chad and Jimmy were winning all those races and championships.
I believe so.
So
yeah, I know he had a part in that team.
Yeah, so I mean, he's familiar with the way Chad crew chiefs. So what I told you the other night, and you had a pretty jagged and sharp opinion. He has 2 options, right? He can stay with the car he's at, or that Chad Keselowski guy, he retired, and he could maybe move over and take over Chad's role with the 24 team. What are your thoughts on that?
So I don't. I'm biased, man. I don't know what I want him to do. I just know that I would like him to continue crew chiefing with the driver I enjoy. I really think it's possible he takes over the Chad Knaus gap at the 24 team, which I don't think would be the right move. You know, he might work with the new. I think it depends on the new driver as well, what the new driver wants. Personally, I really that's kind of up in the air, you know. For me, I don't know. That's if once we know the driver of the next the you know, the new Hendrick driver, I think that'll be a easier thing to really talk about. But obviously obviously checking out some William Byron. I'm sorry this is so fragmented. I'm literally working it over in my head. I just can't figure it out. I mean, if it's Larson, I mean that would probably work. But
if it's Larson, why not go out and get Chad Johnston? If it's Larson, I mean, there's already a relationship there with Chad Johnson. I don't know if he got let go by Ganassi with the 42 car, but he got removed from the role on top of the box with Kenseth. So, I mean,
yeah.
And Chad Johnson used to work at Hendrick as an engineer before he moved over to the 42 team because Ganassi and Hendrick have a pretty good relationship.
Gotcha. See, that's what I was. If it's a more established driver, which is weird to think of Kyle Larson as an established Cup driver, but he is at this point. If it's a more established driver, that makes it a little more tough for Cliff Daniels to get in that spot because they'll probably have a crew chief in mind that isn't Cliff Daniels because he's a new crew chief. And like I was saying, like I don't think Cliff Daniels works with William Byron very well. Cliff Daniels is really similar to Chad Knaus. He's just a little bit younger and spry, but you know the Chad Knaus and William Byron relationship didn't work. It did not work. Listening to them over the radio is like a chore. So I don't think Cliff Daniels goes there unless we want to give William Byron like another crew chief again after Cliff Daniels, because you know that's normal.
Yeah, I feel so bad for William Byron having all these different crew chiefs and having all these opportunities, man. I just feel so bad for the guy. Terrible. I feel absolutely horrendous.
Okay. Yeah.
Did you pick it up? Did you pick it up?
You feel bad. Yeah, I feel bad like that too. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, William Byron's a topic for another day.
Love William Byron, salty earth, but hate him, awful, terrible.
Love the person. Okay. That was like 30 minutes or so. Hopefully, the listeners or viewers, I guess it's on YouTube, so they're viewers technically.
We're entertaining, Joe. We're funny. They'll laugh. They'll laugh.
I hope so. Matt DiBenedetto. He's gonna be back in the 21 car. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Goddamn right.
Back in the 21 car for one more season for sure in that Team Penske Wood Brothers circle. Starting with that, though, obviously, amazing for Matt DiBenedetto. I think people are really quick to say that this has been a bad year for him, which I don't know where that thought process comes in. I mean, he has 3 second place finishes, you know, the 2 at Las Vegas and the 1 at Talladega. Yes, and I know why you're going to be typing in the chat or in the comments saying, "You're wrong, Joe, you're wrong." I'm right, you're wrong. We're not going to penalize Denny Hamlin. We shouldn't penalize Matt DiBenedetto. Again, topic for another day.
I agree.
I think we give him one more year, right? We give him one more year in that 21 car, and we'll see what that does and if that opens up another opportunity for him or if he stays with the Penske bunch. I think I kind of echo that. Though I think something, if again, this tinfoil hat, right? And Brad Keselowski is my guy, and I think me saying that name, you at home are going to be able to figure out what I mean. Keselowski is also on a 1-year deal for next year, and Brad has not been able to bring in a new sponsor to fill that Miller Lite shaped hole with the 2 car. And I don't think that's any fault of Brad's. I just think that's just the way it is right now for a lot of teams. That's racing today. But because Brad's a great guy with like Discount Tire, Alliance Truck Parts, all the companies that are on his car, he's a great ambassador for them. But this could open the door for Matty D, maybe moving over to Penske in 2022 if, say, Brad has a bad season next year. Your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on that? Yeah, like I said, I said this earlier before we started recording. I was commenting on this. I was thinking about it. I'm pretty sure no one else has thought about the fact that Matt DiBenedetto could still have an in at Penske without, Cindric not getting promoted up to Cup. Like, I think that's a really a possibility. I think Brad Keselowski was kind of on the fence about staying. Obviously, he had all intentions of staying. He signed a 1-year deal.
But that's part of COVID, and from what we've heard, that's just part. That's what we're gonna probably see for the next couple of years is a bunch of 1-year deals for these guys with contracts expiring just because of the uncertainty, especially with next gen getting pushed back because a lot of teams went into this year with their budgets, and didn't expect a pandemic reducing revenue, and then also didn't expect the next gen to get pushed back a year. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Davey, but
also it's still only a 1-year deal.
Yes.
And that leaves the door open. If next gen makes as much, you said this, I'm stealing your idea, not my. This is Joe's idea. If next gen makes as much sense as it seems to be making, why would Brad not start looking elsewhere?
Or creating his own team. Yeah, I think
I was gonna let you say it. I was letting you say it since it was your idea. I didn't want to say it.
Thank you, Davey. I appreciate you. I think this gives DiBenedetto, though, it's going to give him another really solid chance to build on 2020. Again, people have said that he has not met expectations. If you had, I get maybe the expectation going into this year was a win for the 21 team, and I think once we got into a lockdown and we got rid of practice, I think that we needed to shift our expectations, especially once Kevin Harvick and Denny Hamlin won half the freaking races. It gives him another year to really build on this relationship that he has at Wood Brothers with his crew chief, Greg Irwin, who is a really good freaking crew chief, by the way. Because this team didn't make the playoffs since they won at Pocono in 2017 with Ryan Blaney, and they made it to the round of 8. So, they didn't make the playoffs in the 2 years with Paul Menard, which, whatever, Paul Menard. So, they made the playoffs this year. They've had really strong runs. They were very, very freaking consistent. They were always a top 15, top 20 guy. They weren't finishing outside the top 20, but they weren't getting top 5s, right? So it gives them a chance to build on that.
So, and if you look deep down into it, the Wood Brothers car has had a very similar average finish since Ryan Blaney won in it. 15, 16-ish. Paul Menard, I think, has a 17-place average finish or whatever. Matt DiBenedetto is sitting at, what's he sitting at? Like 15th? It's not bad. That's really not bad. I'm with you. I see everywhere. I listen to all these other podcasts that say Matt DiBenedetto has had a subpar year and next season he needs to win a race. If he doesn't win a race, that is a failure for that team. Who has won a race in that car? Only Ryan Blaney.
Trevor Bayne.
4 years ago. Okay, are we gonna go there?
No, we're not gonna go there.
Are we gonna go there? Good heavens. Yeah. If you want to go technicalities, yeah. Trevor Bayne won a race with the Wood Brothers. He's a better driver than Matt DiBenedetto, Ryan Blaney, Paul Menard.
I didn't say he was better than Ryan Blaney.
That's fair. They're both the same skill level. They both won one race with Wood Brothers. That's right.
Well, hey man, Blaney's 2 of Blaney's 4 wins are at super speedways. Anyways,
yeah, and one of the other ones fell into his lap.
But he did outduel Kevin Harvick at Pocono, so that's pretty impressive.
It was an impressive win. But moving on.
I got that car sitting in my display case. Moving on. The Cindric effect is what I'm calling it. The Tim Cindric, Austin's...
This episode's gonna give me a heart palpitation.
What?
I hate Austin Cindric.
Yeah, I understand that. He's pegged to drive the 21 car for 2022. He's going to be part-time in Cup next year. I think everyone's assumption is he's going to run the 6 road courses and the 500 for sure. Or at least, try to make the 500. But I think we might actually have 43, 44 cars entering the 500 next year, so that could be exciting.
Woo.
Because we're losing the 13 and the 95, but we've gained the 99, the 23, or whatever, the Jordan Hamlin team.
Yes.
And then we'll be getting another Penske car, and I'm sure Rick Ware will bring 4 cars, and I'm sure MBM will bring a car or 2, and
Are we talking about Trackhouse this week?
we will at some point.
Sorry.
Okay, I forgot to put it in our notes. Sorry, Justin Marks. I am a current college student looking for a job in racing. So
He does the second time in a row you've done that.
I'm gonna do it every week. Davey. Hey, you gotta shoot your shot.
I'm a driver. I have no funding.
I'm a driver with no funding. Therefore, you're not a driver.
I am quite literally an average Joe.
Oh man. Just give Cindric another crack at Xfinity. Honestly, he's a front runner for the championship this year. I think people put a lot of disrespect on his name just because I think whenever we talk about Austin Cindric, we always talk about, oh, he's such a great road course racer and he's so good at road courses and that's all he's good at. Dude has 3 wins on ovals this year. Granted, 2 are at Kentucky in that doubleheader, and then the 1 was a second place finish to Kyle Busch, then Busch got DQ'd. But Cole Custer won at Darlington last year after Denny Hamlin got DQ'd, so I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It gives
Austin Cindric's really good at road courses. He's really good at dumping people in the second level of IMSA as well, but we'll go gloss over that one.
Just gonna that T is a little too strong for me, Davey. Excuse me again. I think this gives him another crack at trying to prove himself in Xfinity, because we'll get into Briscoe later. Harrison Burton's gonna be better next year though. Brandon Jones is still gonna be down there. We'll get into that too. I just sprinkle these things throughout. Coming soon. You got to keep listening, guys. I think this will help change that perception on Cindric. Not about like, oh, I don't like the way he races or he's too aggressive, and I mean that's just the problem for all these Xfinity guys. It seems like right now. I think it gives him an opportunity to change the perception on him being deserving of a Cup Series ride. Outside of the fact that his dad runs Team Penske.
Mr. Penske himself, except for not almost. That was a joke. I mean, yeah, Austin Cindric drives the best car in the Xfinity field.
Well,
and won 8 races. I mean,
what?
Or whatever, however many races Austin Cindric won.
He's won 5.
Won 5 races. I mean, I'm just not.
Are you gonna be negative about Chase Briscoe now? Once we get to that?
No.
Then what's the difference between Cindric and Briscoe?
The difference between Cindric and Briscoe? Cindric still drives easily the best car in the series. Cindric also drives like a spoiled little brat.
Okay.
That's the difference.
I think the positive coming out of this, though, is I'm gonna just gloss over that. I think it's gonna help Ford stay involved in Xfinity, right? There was a worry a month or so ago that once that Cindric was gonna take over the 21, Briscoe was gonna either move over to the 14 or the 32 car, and that was going to ruin Ford's Xfinity program. They were gonna get rid of the 22 car. They were gonna get rid of the 98. I'm happy, though, that we're at least going to keep Ford involved in Xfinity, even if it's just one car out there on track. Which, again, another topic for another day in the off season.
Kinda scary, though, right?
Isn't it?
Kinda scary.
Isn't it scary?
That's scary as hell.
That they've won 13 races this year and they only have 2 cars? Isn't that crazy?
Dude, like, I mean, that's like That's like Dodge winning the championship and then leaving the sport the next year level, like, scary. I'm serious, man. That's not great. That's not good.
Ralph Giles, please, or Jills, or whatever. Ralph Giles, I'm gonna call you that. Please come back to NASCAR. Please bring Dodge back. Please, please,
Honestly,
please.
Or sticking Honda on track, whoever is the Honda dude, McGuy bro.
Moving on though, I mean, hopefully we continue to see Ford and Xfinity, because I think it's good to have, 3 manufacturers instead of just Chevy. That's what the Xfinity series is. It's pretty much all Chevys, and then there's like 6 Toyotas and 2 Fords.
Chevy and Joe Gibbs.
Well, because but I think the thing is, there with Chevy, and I didn't even put this in the notes either. Chevy's has a couple different engine builders right now, right? So there's some competition there with the motors. So if you have competition with the motors, it would make it so that the motors might be a little bit cheaper, and so on and so forth. Team Penske conundrum though, 2022 right now, it'd be 3 + 1 seats, right? You have the 3 seats at Penske, the 1 seat at Wood Brothers. We talked about Keselowski in a 1-year deal, DiBenedetto in a 1-year deal, Cindric already pegged to drive the 21 cars, so that would only leave the 2-car seat open, quotation marks. Is it feasible for Team Penske to expand to what would be 5 cars?
That
It's gonna be next gen. That's the thing.
Yeah, it is gonna be next gen. We don't know.
Exactly, and
that's the
scary thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't. Yeah, like truthfully, I have no idea if that's feasible or not. You would think with all the people coming into the sport that it is. You'd think like all these people making the business decisions that they're making right now, it's a good sign. They could expand, I'm sure, but what if that doesn't happen? What if something goes wrong with the testing of the car? What if something else is wrong with the car? What if something's wrong with the engine package? I know they're looking at a different power unit. Like that, that is. I mean, there's a lot of people making very and obviously there's no success without a great risk. But a lot of moderately risky moves.
Yeah, and I think next gen is a pretty weird thing to think about right now, right? You had all the testing time completely wiped off for this year, so they pushed it back. You're gonna have a common chassis builder, or 1 or 2 common chassis builders.
Can't wait till we talk about that.
It's gonna be composite bodies and whatnot. So in theory, it should help drive the cost down. But we've also seen, if teams, they're told not to spend money on one thing, what do they do, Davey?
They don't listen.
Well, no, they'll spend it on something else. So,
well, yeah, we were getting there.
And we'll talk about it as we go through these different episodes of this, but the real expansion is going to be into simulation, right? You see that with just all different engineering fields right now, right? We're investing more and more in simulations because it minimizes our risk. You build a really good sim, you're going to have it for a couple of years, you're going to be able to use it for a couple of years. You have that one-time investment. Instead of building 6, 7 different prototypes, you only have the one sim.
Exactly. Even Cole Pern cites that as the biggest advantage Martin Truex and their team had when they won their championship was they just had a very advanced simulation of their cars. Like it's that's the move. That's the move going forward for sure.
So that's going to be interesting to see if Penske tries to expand and keep Matty D or Keselowski, however that shakes out. I really hope though. I want Brad to retire in that 2-car, man. On the topic of retirement, Davey, Clint Boyer, your favorite, hanging it up at the end of this year. He's gonna head to the Fox booth in 2021. Clint Boyer, I mean, what's his legacy in NASCAR? Like, I mean, there's a wide range of it, right? You can go all the way from Spingate at Richmond in 2013. You can go to his time at RCR where he had some success, won the 2008 Nationwide Series championship with 1 win.
Wildly average in the Cup car.
He had the resurgence in 2018 with SHR winning at Martinsville in Michigan.
MWR was his prime. I think his legacy will be that 5-hour energy car and that championship he almost won before
2012.
Jeff Gordon decided to drive like a 22-year-old again.
Oh, you know.
Yeah, what can you do?
Jeff was just getting old, man. He just forgot. And don't worry, we're not going to suspend him for the race. Heck, we'll let him win it. He did. He won that Homestead race. I'm just saying.
I thought I was getting spicy. I thought I was putting you off. I think you're just a little bit. I think you just got some vinegar in you tonight, Joe.
It's been a rough week and a half, man.
I think you just got the vinegar. Hey, it's okay.
No, it's okay.
Maybe at the end of this, you can have a debrief and go on the podcast. I mean, have a personal debrief with Davey and Joe. That can be a section of the podcast where we already talk about our problems and our issues. I hope your exams didn't go completely awful, even though I know you're tired.
Oh, we're just tired.
Good.
I think Boyer, though, and I mean, there's the stories about him and H. Scott that have come out. That's a rough look, dude. And I think
go ahead.
And that's part of why he's retiring, right? Because what are his options? Because I think we'll get into it in a second, but it's pretty obvious he wasn't going to be back in that 14 car with the way a certain Ace Isco, I don't want to say his name yet, was driving down there in Xfinity for SHR, but yeah.
Wait, do you mean Noah Gragson?
Yep. See, you figured it out. No, I think Boyer's, he's entertaining, right? He's an entertaining dude.
Funny guy.
Yeah. So I think maybe his legacy is still out there in front of him, working in the Fox booth.
That's a really good way to put it.
I don't even know if it's like saying, oh, you're just being nice, but I mean,
legitimately, that's a really good way to put it.
I think he's still got something in front of him. Like Dale Jr.'s legacy, I think that's still kind of up in the air, right? He has the 25 wins, I think, in the Cup, 25, 26 wins in the Cup Series. It could be more. It could be like 27, 28. In the Cup Series, so, it's probably out in front of Boyer.
Do any of that, so he's got to have something.
Dude, where's my
Go
pen?
ahead, write that down.
It was like 46, 45. Bleep. Anyways, 14 cars open for business. I don't think it's going to be too long that it'll be open for business. Presumed 8-time and counting Xfinity winner Briscoe, most likely going to get that ride. Any dark horse picks for that, though? I don't, because, the 32 team's supposed to have a better relationship with them next year, so you could put Briscoe in the 32 car, but...
No, Chase Briscoe really showed up this year. Chase Briscoe drove like a veteran this year. I think Chase Briscoe is going to, and I don't say this about a lot of drivers. I actually don't say this about, I haven't said this about any driver coming from Xfinity. Chase Briscoe is going to be a Cup star, 100%. It may take him a season or two, but he is going to be a Cup star. He's very good, very smart, very level-headed.
He's 27 years old too, so I mean, I don't think you can leave him down there for too long. With just a lot of younger guys right now coming up, right? I think he's going to be more like a Kevin Harvick eventually. He'll have a lot of success, but I think the championships, they're going to come down the road.
Yeah, he's going to come into his statistical prime in his mid to late 30s for sure, and I think he's going to be very good.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But you don't have any dark horses then for that 14 cards. It's Briscoe or nothing.
Oh no, it's gonna be Chase Briscoe. At least that's what my heart is saying. It's gonna be Chase Briscoe.
And then with that car, sponsorship could be an issue that could force that car to actually be shut down. I don't actually think this. Gene Haas has freaking money. Rush Truck Centers Mobile 1 will be on that car next year for sure. I would assume that the 98 team might shut down, or at least become part-time again, like it was when it was just Biaggi.
Mm-hmm.
So I would assume then High Point goes up with Briscoe to the Cup Series to fill some of those races. But I think it's a great. I'm a big Chase Briscoe fan, right? I think it's going to be a great opportunity for Briscoe. So yeah. Moving on, we had another new team announce that they're not announcing the new team, but announced their plans and driver, Trackhouse.
Yes, Justin Marks.
And I think Daniel Suarez is going to be the driver of the 99 car next year. They're going to have a relationship with RCR. It sounds like they're just going to move into the Germain building. Probably use a lot of the Germain cars because of, when Hamlin purchased the 13 charter, it's just the charter. He didn't purchase the shop, didn't purchase any of the chassis and whatnot because they're gonna get all that stuff from Gibbs. Hey, they should. That's what they should do.
Exactly.
And those chassis should be cheaper, right? I mean, you're throwing them away this year. Just give me a couple. Trackhouse, Justin Marks, though, it's interesting move with the way the team is set up, right? He's been very adamant about this team is about STEM education and building, right? Getting people educated, how they can get into racing, and kind of fostering that love among engineers instead of just, car people for auto racing and just all the things that it can bring to the table for the rest of the world, even, from a technology standpoint.
Sorry, go back, rewind. I was going through I was just reading I was reading the podcast thing. You can edit that out.
Silly. No, I'm not going to edit it out. Look at you looking like a fool with your pants on the ground. Pants on the ground.
Part of it was that, and part of it was also checking IndyCar news just in case anything had happened.
Oh yeah, because it's been a crazy day.
Stuff has been happening today. It's my apologies for being prepared for IndyCar.
Come on, that IndyCar doesn't make the bucks. NASCAR does.
Give me the cliff notes.
Trackhouse, Justin Marks, STEM education, trying to build a team the right way, in-house training, getting their own engineers. The idea originally with the team was next gen's going to save them, right? It's not going to save them, but it's going to help them. But they're going to come in this year anyways with the old car. Good move, bad move?
Badass, great move. Justin Marks is a smart guy. Justin Marks was not going to do something that doesn't make sense. Even as recently as 2-3 years ago, Justin Marks didn't want anything to do with the Cup team. He came out and said that a few places. He's starting a Cup team now. Something's changed. I think it's a very good move. I think it's very smart, purely because it's Justin Marks. I'm not biased. I am biased. Again, I think this is the same thing as the Michael Jordan thing in the last podcast. I think it's a much better sign for the sport than it is, this move, that move. I think it's a really, really good vote of confidence by a very smart racing businessman, and also a decent little move for Daniel Suarez. Hopefully that works out for him.
Yeah, I mean, I want to just Justin Marks again. If you're listening to this on the off chance, but it's probably not going to happen, and you're looking for interns for this upcoming summer, if I could somehow just get room and board, I'd be good. Anyways,
I'm a 23-year-old driver with no funding. I have a Miata.
I go to the University of Michigan. I think I'm.
We're a package deal.
They tell me that's a good thing. Oh, where was I? I really like the move of a guy being like, yes, we're not just investing in a race team. We're not just investing in on-track performance. We're not just investing in a driver. We're investing in the actual people that build the cars. We're investing in the education of these people. We're investing in making sure that those people are prepared, that they're going to have a career in racing. I like that the focus with this team isn't just, okay, we want to go win races. And of course that's the goal, right? The goal is still the same. When you're doing engineering, right? Your goal, your deliverable, your main deliverable in racing is points, it's victories, it's championships.
Yes.
For Daniel Suarez, though, he made a move that you and we've talked about in the past. Puzzling move, going over to Gaunt Brothers this year. The idea, though, there was that Gaunt Brothers, they were a Toyota team. Suarez still had a good relationship with, oh man, his name's slipping. Who's the head of TRD? Dave.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Oh man.
Hold on.
But hey,
David Wilson.
He still had a good relationship with all of them at TRD. Goes to a Toyota team. That team obviously was not prepared to run a full season.
No.
Hopefully they're more prepared next year when they get whatever they end up doing. Daniel Suarez, 4 different teams though in 4 years, and 2 of those teams were 5-star A-class teams, right?
Yes.
This is his last chance in terms of, like, he's got to make sure he's getting top 25s consistently, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he
You
really cannot afford anything other than
you can't be
performance.
you can't be finishing behind Rick Ware Racing anymore.
No.
Yeah, so
The average finish of like 30th is going to have to get bumped up a little bit there, bud. You're a full-time Cup driver.
yeah, and an Xfinity champion.
Yeah.
Freaking...
And arguably, I think he wasn't as bad as he was made out to be, but arguably he didn't deliver in his 2 seasons as a Cup driver.
3.
He did not deliver. He's got to do it. He's got to do something. He's got to change it up. He's got to do it this next season, man. If he doesn't, I really think that's lights out on a Cup career for Daniel.
Yeah, and I think, there was also the rumor last offseason that he was going to go with RCR and go back down to Xfinity, take over Reddick's car. Didn't end up doing that, and I think the idea there was, I already won an Xfinity championship. I've already won races there. I don't need to go back down there and prove that I can do it there because I've shown that I can. But if that's your argument there, now you got to show that you can be a Cup driver. You got to show that you can get good finishes. Again, it's the same thing with Matty D, right? We went into this season thinking, oh, he's got to win a race. He's got to win a race. He's got to make the round of 8. He's got to do this and that. Let's temper our expectations. Let's move them down a little bit. This isn't Hendrick adding a 5th car or RCR adding a 3rd car. Even it's okay. It's probably gonna be a lot. It's gonna be very similar to the way Jermaine and RCR worked. It sounds like for this season at least. So temper the expectations for Daniel Suarez, but it's a good move for him to stay in the Cup Series and at least continue to try to rebuild his credibility in the garage area among owners. And I just hope he sticks with this team, Davey. I think he needs to stick with the team, right? 4 teams in 4 years. You got to show that you're at least a little bit committed, because he went over to Gaunt Brothers and said, "Oh yeah, let's run full time, guys. That's what I want to do." And now he's leaving, and that's a huge sponsorship hole that team's now in.
A little bit of improvement. He got this move done before January. High five, man. That's how you do it.
Getting better.
Look at that. Getting better.
To a Gibbs, the Gibbs car that Daniel won a championship in, announced today Brandon Jones staying in the 19, Menards continuing with that team. That's good for Brandon Jones. I mean, I think people really crap on him a lot.
As good as anything can be for, as you say that, as good as anything can be for Brandon Jones, that is good for Brandon Jones, yeah.
I mean, and I think some of it's warranted. He was at RCR when RCR was really good in the mid-2010s, and he's been at Gibbs now for 3 or 4 years. I think this is year 3 at Gibbs. I could be wrong. Hey, the wins are coming. 4 wins in the last year. We're going back to Kansas where he's won twice now. So hey,
God.
I mean, he outdueled Kyle Busch. He outdueled Kyle Busch at Phoenix in March. So I mean, he could be the favorite if he makes it to the Final Four for the championship.
So did Cale Gale. So
well, hey, that was in the Truck Series. This is the Xfinity Series. These cars are harder to drive, Davey. But yeah, good for Brandon Jones. Good for Brandon Jones. I just wanted to touch on that.
I'm rooting for his improvement.
Yes.
It would be cool to see him, make it come. He's already kind of improving, but it'd be cool to see him continue. Yes, I agree.
Then our last little bit about NASCAR silly season, just a silly season update. Eric Jones currently has the best average finish in the last 6 races of the playoffs with a 7th place average, including a 22nd place finish at Richmond. Sorry, I had to turn away from the mic. It's like he's not a terrible driver like people try to make it out to be.
Well, it's a good thing Christopher Bell's getting his seat, because Christopher Bell is really good.
Christopher Bell is definitely going to tear up the track, and by tear up the track, I mean probably tear up a couple cars. Hey man, you can only wreck your teammate so many times. Anyways, current seats open 14, but we already talked about that. 88, 24, 25, or 20, not 24, 25, 5, whatever number that ends up being. 32 cars still open. That's supposedly they're going to get a stronger relationship with SHR going forward. The 43 is open. 96 will be open. 37, there's been rumblings that Priest might be out of that car, but then this weekend there was rumblings that he's going to re-sign with that team, so, whatever. But right now, the guys that we know don't have contracts, Eric Jones, Corey LaJoie, Ty Dillon. Rumor is Ty Dillon goes back down to Xfinity next year, which it's not a bad move for him. He didn't win an Xfinity championship. I think he's only has like 2 or 3 Xfinity wins, so, I mean... But then again, he did just win a stage at the Rovals, so, like, Anyways. Hey, that was a great call, by the way, for them to come down and get their slicks when they did. And great driving by him not to wreck the car when the infield was still covered in water.
Yeah, on top of him also just being an absolute monster with the wet tires on. Like, genuinely, what a good drive the first stage of that race from Ty Dillon. That was so good. That was badass, man.
But if you had to predict right now, Davey, I'm gonna give you I'm gonna give you those.
Sorry. I have a dark horse for the 14 car. I just thought about it.
Who?
Corey LaJoie.
Yeah, but I don't. It's gotta be Briscoe.
I mean, SHR relationship.
Yeah, but you're not gonna put Chase Briscoe in the 32 car and give it less support when you can give him more support and keep him in house.
You asked for a dark horse. I'm giving you a dark horse.
I did, but I asked for it like 20 minutes ago, Davey.
Well,
I'm just teasing, man. I'm just teasing.
Listen. How about I'm just gonna finish it off with Parker Kligerman to the 96 car, please. Thank you.
I would be okay with that, especially because we got 6 road courses next year, and then we also still have the 4 super speedways. So like, Parker's pretty good.
He's pretty good at those.
I'm gonna give you the 3 names though: Eric Jones, Corey LaJoie, Ty Dillon. Where do you see those guys going? Obviously, Corey LaJoie is not going to go back to the 32 car since he's already announced he's leaving that team.
Yeah, Corey LaJoie has been talking on his podcast that he's got a couple options out on the table. There's a couple deals for him. I think Corey LaJoie shocks everybody and goes to the 43 car.
I think that's a good fit.
Him and Bubba actually have a good relationship. So I think he could find his way to the 43 car. Eric Jones.
That's who I want to be in the 43 car if he's not going to get the 88.
Yeah. Eric Jones would be a pretty good fit in the 37, but I think Ryan Preece stays there too. I mean, in all reality, Eric Jones could still possibly be a candidate for the Hendrick car as well. Right?
Man, Eric Jones reads children's books on Facebook. Gosh darn it. Like, come on, people.
Yeah, I know.
Wholesome Eric Jones.
I know, buddy, I know.
And Gamer Words saying Kyle Larson. Who do you pick?
I know, buddy, I know.
Jones has 2 wins in his first 100 starts. Only 2 other drivers have done that. One of them's a champion. One of them's Ryan Blaney. So,
Yeah, I mean, Eric Jones will have he'll have a great time going to 32, and yeah.
There goes your career. I'm scared, man. I'm just scared. I'm scared.
You never know.
You never know though. But like,
because they could throw some support at the 32 car. SHR could. And Eric Jones goes there. Eric Jones gets the satellite SHR car.
Moves over to the 4 when Harvick retires or takes over.
Exactly. Or Eric Almirola decides that he's not good, which he should have already. Then he'll move to the 10.
Hey man, he'll always have Milwaukee.
Oh, yep, he'll have that. At least that.
We'll talk about it too later, but Gibbs' development system, holy crap. Look at all the drivers that they've had over the years. Like, dude was a football coach and he just knows how to scout talent. Anyways.
Yeah, Brandon Jones, Eric Almirola.
Matt Benedetto, Joey Logano.
Yeah, I was talking about examples that aren't good.
Corey LaJoie.
That's a good shout.
Pretty sure he went there. All right. I know you're geeking out IndyCar stuff. Let's start with kind of the most controversial story of this last week. Oliver Askew out at Arrow McLaren had a strong rookie season this year with them, and then he hurt his brain a little bit.
Practice coconut.
Got a concussion. We're not joking about concussions, by the way. We're just trying to, keep the mood going. That's kind of scary, honestly. That he was in the car at Mid-Ohio.
I have very strong opinions about this, so I promise you I am not making fun of it.
Sounds of it, right? Spire Management, which Spire Motorsports is owned by Spire Management. Spire Management is the company. We talked about this in the last podcast. They represent a lot of drivers. They represent James Hinchcliffe, who was also let go by Arrow McLaren last October. They're not happy. They are not too pleased with the the trend of their drivers getting released from this team in October with little to no notice.
All because of a nude photo shoot.
All because of a what?
I was making a joke about Hinch. Keep going.
What did Hinch do?
Well, there's a running joke that Hinch got fired because of the nude photo shoot he did last year.
Was he on the he was in the ESPN body issue, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh no, he got in a big time sports magazine posing nude with race car helmets and tires in front of his pelvic region. What terrible PR for our small IndyCar team that already struggles with getting its name out there.
Holy crap! Okay,
golly gosh darn dang it, James
Arrow
Hinch,
is not
don't do that.
Hiring you.
Yes, that's fine. It's a little scummy, right? It's a little scummy. I mean,
not great.
The outside perception could be completely wrong that they don't want this having the thought that we were having a guy race for us that had a concussion and we didn't know. And you answered my question about do you think they're scummy too? Because it sounds like you do.
It's not good vibes, man. You can't do that.
You can't.
I mean,
what precedent does that set for these drivers? In any motorsport, or even coming up in karting, or
this isn't the 70s anymore, guys.
Drive through a concussion, or else you're gonna get let go. That's not a good precedent to set.
No, we're gonna start killing drivers again. Let's not do that. We're past this. We're past the whole killing drivers thing.
Yeah, Dale Jr. got us past it, guys. He said, if you crack your coconut, don't drive. And then he didn't drive.
Except for here and there.
Except when he kind of felt okay. And I mean, I think that's a really good book, by the way, his book about his concussions and stuff. Ooh, I hit my mic. Apologize. We're professionals here, Davey.
It's okay.
It doesn't set a good precedent, right? And that team has had so much turmoil in the last 2 years, right? I mean, last year you had, oh my gosh, why is his name escaping my brain right now? Oh my god, Canadian driver. He almost got almost got paralyzed at Pocono. Robert Wickens. I am so sorry, Mr. Wickens. That was I should know your name a lot better, because you were absolutely fantastic in your rookie year. Got hurt, terrible accident at Pocono. That's right. It was Pocono.
Yep, it was Pocono.
And that's the reason they don't race there anymore, because of that incident, because apparently Pocono is more dangerous than Indy.
Oh, I can't wait. We're going to talk about this offseason, too. I can't wait to talk about that. Oh, Lord.
I think it has to do with the prestige of the race more. But, and then they get rid of Hinch, right? Complete turnover of drivers this year. Changed their power plant to Chevrolet from Honda. Brought in McLaren. And I think that's also, I think that's more so the reason Hinch got let go than a photo shoot.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. It was the photo shoot thing, believe it or not, was just a joke.
No, but, I know. I'm just,
yeah.
That got me heated for a second there, Davey. I was like, no.
If you ask Alexander Rossi, he'll tell you it was that.
Hey man, Rossi's a great guy. So, yeah, I mean, that was not a shot at Alexander Rossi, by the way. I don't know the guy. I actually like Alexander Rossi. He won the Indy 500 when I was there for the first time.
Heck yeah.
Numero 100, by the way. I have never seen a guy low line Indy like he did. Gotta save gas somehow. So then, with all that news about Askew, right? Broke today. Felix Rosenquist is going to hop in that car next year, so he's leaving Ganassi. You also got to remember Ganassi right now. Jimmy Johnson was going over there. Good for Rosenquist to get that ride with McLaren, because I think he was probably going to be playing like third or fourth fiddle next year when Jimmy Jam was in there. But you had an opinion.
Yeah.
You had an opinion about that.
I do have an opinion. I do have
or maybe some insider info, but we're not going to talk about who the insider is.
I wouldn't even. You know what? I wouldn't even say insider info. These kind of things come all the time. There's
trying to build our credibility, Davey.
Someone who, may or may not have some people follow them, suggests that a possible rumor in the sport is that because the NTT car is sponsored, the 10 car, that Jimmy Johnson just takes that car over and he runs full time. He said on the Dale Jr. download when he was on it a couple months ago that the aero screen has him paying attention to the oval races. He wants to run the 500, I think, now. I think his tune has changed since a few years ago when he said how he didn't want to run the ovals.
There's only 4 ovals next year.
Exactly. So I think it's really possible that we might get some full time out of my main man, Jimmy Jam.
I think that's an interesting point, Davey, because I don't think Jimmy Johnson would be able to get sponsorship, right? I don't think a sponsorship would be the issue, because who wouldn't? It's going to be the biggest story in IndyCar next year, outside of the battle for the championship, I think.
Yes.
Whenever he's at the track. It sounded like he was going to run, if not all, the majority of the road course races, and then, it comes out that they are pretty much majority road course races, so at that point, it's like, okay, you're only not going to run 4 races? Like, Also, what's Ed Carpenter going to do? But that's beside the point. I mean, that's something to think about. Connor Daly's done pretty good this year.
I know. Please, good, Connor, stay, do the full-time thing, Connor. Good lord.
But it opens the door for Jimmy to run full time. I think that'd be a really cool story to see. NASCAR fans always say, "Oh, we have better drivers." IndyCar fans always say, "Oh, we have better drivers. We're pure racing series." It'd be interesting to see if the best NASCAR driver of the last 30 years.
Oh, thank you. That's so nice to hear.
And I grew up not liking Jimmy Johnson.
I'm glad some people I know can look past that.
Dude still won how many freaking races in a time where the sport is ultra competitive.
And if they're listening, they know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think you're talking about fellow JTN broadcaster Tommy Bordeaux. Was I right?
I didn't say his name.
Oh, you didn't say his name. Tommy Bordeaux, friend of the show.
Long-time listener.
First time listener, long-time caller. Can't wait to do these live sometimes.
Imagine.
Oh, you say imagine?
People that tune in.
Hey man, it'd be a freaking great round table. But yeah, I think it's gonna show this debate. I think Jimmy might struggle a little bit at the start next year, especially maybe with some of the street courses being a little tighter, different sight lines and whatnot. But it's still Jimmy freaking Johnson. We'll see. It's also interesting though, because this kind of abandons his relationship with Chevy a little bit, right? I mean, he's gonna be driving a Honda, so
Hendrick's got Honda dealerships. There's still something there.
It's not about that though. It's about I know. Devil's advocate here, Davey.
Devil's advocate.
Devil's advocate. So yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting to see. I like that word, interesting. I think I'm gonna put it on a T-shirt. We will see. We will see what happens with your man Jimmy Jam into next year. And from looking to next year with silly season today, we're gonna look at this weekend, the NASCAR Cup Series, NASCAR Xfinity Series, NASCAR Gander Outdoors, and RV Truck Series. That is a mouthful. And the ARCA Menards Series all head to Kansas. ARCA crowning their champion. We're not going to talk about ARCA, though, because, God, you got to have more than 15 cars for us to talk about your series. Just a quick note on the truck race. Quick note on the truck race. Also, all these series, I believe, they're all entering their like last elimination round. Because trucks didn't race this last weekend, and Talladega was the cutoff race. So yeah, they're all going to be going. Next 3 races are going to be part of their final round before Phoenix, where we're going to crown a champion at that track. Hailie Deegan is going to be making her debut in the truck race at Kansas on Saturday at 4 p.m. on FS1. Or no, I think it's on Fox, actually. I think this weekend's truck race is on Fox. That's probably why it's at 4 and not 3:30 or 3 or something. Rumor is, Davey, this is going to set her up to be able to compete full-time in 2021. Your feelings for Hailie Deegan aside for a second here. For DGR Crosley, though, is this a good... This is a good thing, right? Because, I mean, she's going to bring in at least sponsorship and backing for that team.
It is a good professional move, Joe.
I like it. All right, now for Hailie Deegan and the rest of the field. How's this bode? The truck series.
For the rest of the field, look out.
Davey Hazard, not a fan of Hailie Deegan.
You don't go on the Dale Jr. download and say, I was practicing with my driver coach how to do bump and runs all day. I can name so many things wrong with that statement. First of all, it's not a driver coach, that's a crash test dummy. Second of all, what do you practice? You're practicing how to wreck someone, how to bump someone. You just hit them. All you gotta do is hit them. What are you talking about?
Probably trying to make sure they can't get back to her, because it seems like anytime one of them gets back to her, she gets dumped. So.
Yeah, wow, wild. Imagine that. It's almost like you can't continue that type of racing up until a higher level.
Hey man, it's just those West Coast drivers: Noah Gragson, Hailie Deegan, Riley Herbst. You know, those.
Take them all back. Write that down.
We're only got you gotta keep it, because we're 3 for Dale right now, so I need you to.
We're at 3. What was the wait? What? No, I did 2. Oh man.
You said something at 21 minutes. You said something at 46 minutes and 45 seconds, and then you said something at 1 minute 16 and 10-ish seconds. Or 1 hour. 16 minutes and.
I just did it again. Sorry.
Oh shoot! You did. Well, now it's 4 for Casey Kane.
God, what a Red Bull car!
What a Red Bull car!
Red Bull.
And speaking of energy drinks, so Deegan's got the Monster sponsorship, although I don't think it's on her car this weekend.
I didn't even mean to do that.
Hey, I'm just that good, man. I'm just that dang good at this broadcasting.
I'm done with Hailie Deegan. Let's move on.
No. I want to say a couple things.
Damn it.
I think it's a good thing for DGR. I think it's a good thing for Ford's development, because she right now is the top driver there. Maybe, I mean, like, from a development standpoint, because I think Austin Cindric could go into Cup next year and be fine. I think, Chase Briscoe is going to be fine in Cup next year. Tanner Gray, Taylor Gray, those two are in the development system, and Todd Gilliland is development, but Todd Gilliland's still a little ways away. John Hunter, I guess. See, development systems are so weird, especially when they're not really formed up like their development system.
Development systems haven't made sense since like the mid 2000s when teams threw money at development drivers. But
hello, Chase Elliott.
Some other time.
But yeah, it's a good move for DGR if they can get her into a truck next year full time. Maybe she does better in the trucks. I mean, I don't know. Hasn't really shown it in ARCA this year. She's been consistent. I think she's going to probably finish third or 4th in points. So, I mean, it's not too terrible. I'd have to look. I honestly... Dude, I bought Track Pass this year, and just with COVID and stuff, and schedules getting all out of place, now all these ARCA West and East and Series races being at the same time as Xfinity Truck and Cup races, it's like, yeah, I'm not watching ARCA to a National Touring Series. I mean, I don't know why I would do that, but... Yeah, good move for DGR. Good if they can get her into a truck next year. We'll see how she does. Hey, maybe she finishes top 10 in this race and we go freaking bonkers about it.
Top 10 on a truck race. Whoa.
Well, I mean, Truck Series, though, this year, Davey, it's been pretty competitive.
I guess.
No, not you guess. It has been.
Sorry, I guess.
Davey, you don't watch trucks. You don't
get trucks anymore because the drivers are all boring.
Well, Matt Kraft and Johnny Sauter, they can only do so much.
They're the most boring ones.
Exactly. Xfinity, they're gonna win into Kansas. Brandon Jones would probably be a guy that you're gonna look out for. Austin Cindric was really fast there in July. Briscoe will be fast there. He was fast there last year in this race. Allgaier will probably end up. I mean, Gregson was really fast too, so it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be your normal suspects there, and then just add in Brandon Jones. But Cup's gonna be interesting because.
No, it's not.
Well, I mean, Harvick or Hamlin's probably gonna win, but
it's gonna be Denny Hamlin. He's won the last 2 races there.
Never know.
Sorry, I know I'm like very excited about it.
NASCAR, you need a hype man? Hook me up. Wow, we're gonna be
really good with fans and fan interaction because you're just gonna positive spin everything.
Hey man, you can spin this race. Hey, we already know 2 spots in the final 4. That makes it even harder for 6 drivers. Compete for 2 spots, Davey.
You're not wrong. I guess
I'm not wrong. I think a guy Truex might be a dark horse here. Dark horse in the sense of like the other 8 drivers, and only really 2 of those guys being ones that you think can actually win the race.
I think Joey Logano's got a better chance at winning this race. I think the Penske cars are going to be sneaky strong.
See, I think Joey Logano's been booty all year. When's the last time Joey Logano won, Davey?
I don't know. Next weekend.
Honestly, I don't remember when Joey Logano won. I mean, I think it was. Was it Phoenix? I think it was Phoenix in March. Unless he won between then and now. I'm trying to think. Didn't win at Dover. Didn't win at Michigan. Didn't win at Pocono.
What are you talking about?
When's the last time Joey Logano's won a Cup race, Davey?
Phoenix.
Yeah. Okay, I was right. Golly gosh darn it, Davey. And he
also won Vegas before that.
Yeah. No, I know. I'm just saying. I don't. Logano hasn't been that strong this year, Davey. Honestly.
Are you sure?
Yes, I am pretty sure. I think this has been a down year for Joey Logano. 2 wins for Joey Logano, that's a down year.
He had 2 wins in 2019.
Hey, down year.
He had 3 wins in 2018.
Hey, championship year.
Yeah! That's the point! He's his average finish is only like 2 positions worse than it has been in some of his best years, minus 2015, which was just like
crazy,
alien-like.
And then he decided to wreck Matt Kenseth. We all know what happens when you wreck Matt Kenseth.
You can't do that.
Can't do it. You can't do that, Daryl. You just can't. Yeah. I mean, probably be Harvick or Hamlin, but let's make it exciting. Keselowski could win there. He won there last year in the spring. Chase has won there before. I mean, Truex has won there before. Kurt Busch, I'm sure, has won at Kansas before. So, I mean, everyone's won there before except Alex Bowman. And Alex Bowman won at Chicagoland last year. So, I mean, Are
we gonna do a Final 4 pick, or are we just gonna do the?
No, we're just gonna keep talking like this in circles, wasting time for some reason. Yeah, we're gonna go to Final 4, and it's mainly me, Davey, that's doing that.
Look at me doing hostly stuff. That'd be cool.
Davey's like,
you should do that more often.
Davey's like,
hey, this is my show.
I mean, it's not, but okay.
Wow.
Get back in your chair. This is my chair at the head of the table.
I got something to tell you after this podcast, Joe.
Uh-oh.
I don't want them to know. I don't want the listeners to know.
Davey about to tenure his resignation after 2 episodes.
They don't need to know this very. I mean, they don't need to know the information. I'll tell you. I'll tell you after.
Tune in next week.
Maybe I'll tell you next week. Who knows?
Who makes it to the Final 4, Davey?
Who makes it to the Final 4? Ooh, this is a good one.
I think you got 2, right? Hamlin and Harvick.
Yeah, I really want to be that guy who's like, big shock, Denny Hamlin misses, but that's not gonna happen. Sorry.
Okay.
I really didn't mean to do it that time. Harvick and Hamlin, that's obvious. I think Chase Elliott's gonna get in purely off of consistency alone. I don't think he's gonna get in because
NASCAR wants him to. Okay.
It's a yikes. I think Chase Elliott gets in on consistency alone.
Yeah, these are 3 good tracks for him.
Yes.
Kansas is a good track. Texas is probably his worst out of these 3. Martinsville's a good track for him. So yeah, I think he probably gets in.
My brain keeps telling me Alex Bowman.
Nope.
I know, because he's not very good at these tracks.
Nope, it's not that he's not very good at these tracks.
Not good enough, in my opinion. What's your reason?
It's because Brad Keselowski's gonna win at Martinsville, so I mean, then he's gonna win it.
No.
Yep, then he's gonna win Phoenix because
Actually, what I was gonna say, which is the truth, is that Kurt Busch is gonna pull out a win at Martinsville.
dude, can you imagine Kurt Busch pulling 2 wins out of his I can't
clutch,
say 2
clutch situation wins. Yo, I'm just saying.
I'd be here for it, man.
Think
I'm okay
Kurt
with
Busch
it.
is gonna win Martinsville. I think he's gonna Kurt Busch. I think it's gonna be like it's gonna be a barn burn. Kurt Busch is gonna take down the dub. And he's gonna burn it down. He's gonna go into Phoenix and damn it, have a shot at it. I'm just really hyped about Kurt Busch. I love Kurt Busch.
I can tell you're really freaking hyped about Kurt Busch. Yeah, my final 4 is Harvick, Hamlin, Keselowski, and I'm stuck between Chase and Truex because Truex won at Martinsville in the spring. But Chase right now has a little bit more momentum, and I think he's the 4th guy this year. I think Brad's the 2nd or the 3rd guy, and obviously Harvick and Hamlin are the top 2. I just, like I said, I haven't seen it out of Joey Logano this year. I think the crew chief change kind of hurt him a little bit more than I think we've been led on to believe. Not that Paul Wolf isn't a spectacular crew chief, because he is. I mean, put some respect on his name. 2012 Cup champ, 2010 Xfinity or Nationwide champ. But Keselowski and Jeremy Bullins have meshed really well, and all those people talking about how Jeremy Bullins was a terrible crew chief. I don't know about that. It's not Ryan Blaney hate, by the way. That's just, hey, maybe Blaney still hasn't found his right crew chief yet.
I agree.
Then again, they did win 3 races together, and Keselowski's won 3 races with Bullins. So I mean, they've won the same amount of races with that crew chief. So maybe they're the same.
Brad's had it for 1 year.
But I think Brad gets into the final 4 because he's got a decent chunk of playoff points, and I think Chase, because Chase has all the momentum in the world right now, coming off the win at the Roval. I'm gonna call my shot for the championship. It's gonna be Keselowski's title to lose, I think, going into Phoenix. He dominated at Richmond. He dominated at New Hampshire. Those are the 2 closest tracks to Phoenix. Harvick's gonna be strong there, like he always is, obviously.
Harvick hasn't been as strong there lately.
He hasn't. And you can make the argument, well, Hamlin won there last year in this race, in that final Phoenix race, but also that was the stupid package. So
that's true. I actually even said to my dad point this week. I was like, they're going to the old package. Kevin Harvick doing Kevin Harvick things at Phoenix.
And I mean, I think Harvick and Hamlin, those guys are obviously the 2 most deserving. Harvick being the most deserving, because I think he's been the best guy all season long, just by virtue. I think he has the most experience, right? It probably helps. But yeah, Harvick, Hamlin, Keselowski, Chase. Those are my 4. Your 4 were Harvick, Hamlin, Chase, and Kurt Busch.
Yep. Okay,
so we'll see. We'll see if BK or Kurt Busch gets in, and then if our other picks get ruined. But it's been a long episode. We're coming up on the hour.
Hold on. Oh, wait.
What?
I didn't get to make my shot for my championship.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Davey. I'm so sorry.
Pre-Final 4, Chase Elliott is the championship this year.
Dude, when I filled out the Nascar, the fan council survey, they're like, oh, what do you see the headline after Phoenix being? I said, oh, Chase Elliott wins title after other 3 Final 4 drivers wreck on lap 7 due to NASCAR throwing a competition caution. I said something. I have a picture of it somewhere. I'd have to find it. Maybe I'll put it in the video. But yeah,
tell you what, man,
I can see Chase winning. I honestly, any of these 8 guys can win with the way this format is set up, right? I mean, and that's how it's set up.
Yep.
Especially in this year where you don't have practice.
And if Alex Bowman gets in, he's got a great shot. Ran really good at Phoenix that 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
He got a really good shot. Home track.
He's probably gonna have family there because there's gonna have to be fans at these next 4 races.
Yeah, it's gonna be a interesting run to the Final 4.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be, and that's why you got to tune in this Sunday, to NBC Kansas, race number 33. of 36. It's 33
Yeah.
of 36. We're almost to the end, folks. We did it. We made it. Only 2 drivers got COVID. We did it. Woo!
Ugh. Ugh.
Hey, man, they got better after they got COVID, so, I mean, I don't know, man.
Debatable.
I don't know.
Debatable. Jimmy Johnson was pretty strong before, too.
Hey, man, when they observed my DNA, they saw USA, man. Anyways.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
That's not my quote. I'm sure you can figure out who that quote's from. Anyways, thank you so much, everyone, for listening. Davey, you got any final words to the people at home on what they should do?
I hope you all are having a good time. We are still in a pandemic. I hope you all are holding up. I hope you all enjoy some good racing. I hope that you guys stay safe out there. And make sure to get out. And I will be saying this for every podcast we have before the election. Go out and vote. Make sure you vote.
Or mail in your ballot. That's
Do your
okay,
civic
too.
duty. Yes, it is. Do your civic duty.
Or you can vote early. I'm not trying to cut over you, Davey. I just want them to know.
Fine.
I want them to know all their options.
I agree.
And make sure if you're mailing in your ballot, you do it correctly and you read the instructions. But
yep. I agree.
Us telling you to vote isn't indicative of where we stand. It's just that's what you should do. It's the one of 2 things the government asks you to do. So
And if you think it's indicative of where you stand, you're awful.
You don't know who I am.
I don't want you to listen to this podcast.
You don't know me. You think you know me. Sorry, that was a little WWE. You don't know that.
I don't.
That's
I
okay.
don't know that.
That's
Sorry,
okay.
I like things that go in circles.
That's fine. That's what we're gonna be doing. We'll be back with you next week, next Wednesday, same time, same place. Video will go live. You can listen to it on youtube.com/the Johto or not the Johto Network, just youtube.com/Johto Network. JTN, baby. Continue to build
on our socials.
At D7H5 on Twitch for Davey. Davey Hazard on Twitter. The links.
D7H5 on Twitch.
D7H5 on Twitch. I might put the JTN Discord in the YouTube description too. So I mean, now that I said it.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
So if you want to join the JTN Discord, it's pretty bare bones right now, but maybe I'll make it better. We'll see.
Yeah.
Or you can, do some general motorsports conversation. That link will be down in the description below. Producer Bristol now coming in saying, we got to wrap this up, Davey.
That's a good idea. Hey, Bristol.
He can't hear you.
Oh, well.
He doesn't wear headphones. He just looks at the time. Figures out when you swear by the look on my face.
Points at his watch.
TikTok on the clock.
Kesha. All right. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Make sure you check out all the links in the description below. You can check out my Twitch, Johto2 on Twitch. That link will be down there. Check out the JTN Facebook page. I'm just cramming all these in here because I'm not going to put them in the middle of the podcast because that's silly.
It is.
Because you're going to click off this when we start talking about, hey, check out this stuff. Make sure you like the video. Hit subscribe. Ooh. If you stuck around, here's a special code that you can type in at Johto Designs, our premier partner for t-shirts. You can enter code JTN15, that is JTN15, for 15% off your purchase at Johto Designs. That code will go live. It'll be live by tomorrow. So if you stayed around and you stuck around and listened, now you got yourself 15% off instead of 10% off. So don't share that code with anyone. Don't share it.
Get your merch. It's good merch. I got merch.
Well, and then you check out the JTN merch store. Those designs are by Johto Designs. Check out the JTN merch store, and it's a great time there. We appreciate you all for listening. Thank you so much. If you liked the video, liked the podcast, make sure you hit like. Tell us how we did. Good or bad, we take all the feedback that we can to try to keep improving. That's what the name of the game here is for JTN. We keep chugging away, Davey, and we're going to keep getting better. For everyone here at JTN, for Bristol the dog, our producer, cameraman, he does it all. For Davey Hazard, I've been Joe Tolansky. Thank you so much for listening to the Fake Racers Podcast, Episode 2. We'll see you guys next week on this podcast, and make sure you check out all the other videos we have here on JTN. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye, guys. Love ya.